This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? All right. No, there's no phone calls, so I'm gonna turn that off really quick. Yeah. There you go. All right. So normally I don't make videos like this. I always kind of like, oh, really, you know, serial killer, blah 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 blah. And I remember Ada mentioned just like it's, you know, Bundy was another scenario that was like it. She didn't say he was Bundy or something. But when there's some interesting information in this case that makes you wonder if somehow Bryan Kohberger was sort of like a fan of Bundy and was trying to emulate, you know, what Bundy did. Specifically Chi Omega in Florida that night. All right, so I'm just going to go through this information and, you know, maybe it was inspired by or something. I really don't know, but I'm going to just throw out little elements here, one after another, and see what happens. All right, so here's the first piece right here. Let me move over to that screen. And I might be coming on later. I don't know. Again. Just to keep you updated, the flight that Bryan Kohberger is on is at this Ellsworth Air Force Base right now. I've been tracking it. I think they're just refueling. It's a prop plane, but I think it's a government plane. And it's not on, like, flight radar doesn't, they have it here, and they have it flying, but they don't have the flight number listed like another site does, which is whatever site this is, the Globe Ads something exchange. Now it looks like it's taken off, so that's it right there. It's already taken off again. So if we go over to flight radar, it just took off just now, and there it is right there. So apparently that's the plane. And that looks exactly like the one he got on. And I wonder if it's just trying to avoid some weather right here, because it's got to head up to Idaho up here. At the beginning, it was right on the exact same trajectory. But anyways, I'll just leave it like that. See what happens. Yeah. Okay. All right, so here we go. The house where Ted Bundy lived in Pennsylvania. Well, wow. What? That's weird, right? All of a sudden, you know, I mean, we know he went to Temple University, but he didn't really, you know, you don't put it together in your mind. This is the house where serial killer Ted Bundy lived during the late 1960s. The house is situated in Lafayette Hill, Pennsylvania, which is on the northern outskirts of Philadelphia. Bundy stayed here with his Aunt Julia Cowell while he was attending Temple University. The general consensus is that he moved to Pennsylvania at some point in December 1968, and that was from Tacoma, Washington. Ted's stint at Temple University did not last long. In May of 1969, he dropped out of the university after completing one semester and decided to move back to Tacoma. So now we've got this situation where Ted Bundy lived in Pennsylvania and went back to the state of Washington. Well, now we have Bryan Kohberger, who moved from Pennsylvania, where he got his master's degree, and went to Washington State. So that alone doesn't really mean much. It's like, oh, wow, okay. And then we open up the Bryan Kohberger's teacher, who taught him about serial killers, speaks out. Serial killer expert who taught the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students told Newsweek she is not making any statements to the media at this time. Bryan Kohberger, 28, was arrested early on Friday morning at his parents' house in Pennsylvania. Kohberger is a PhD student and teaching assistant in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology. All right, at Washington State University, located about 9 miles west of the University of Idaho. And welcome, new member up there. And yes, this channel is solely funded by you guys via super chats and channel memberships, all that kind of thing. All right, and that's what allows us to fund by using from my income. We fund forensic genetic genealogy cases out there. We have 5 currently in the books working on them, and 2 solved already. And then also we able to donate to places like RAIN, NCMEC, National Center. I mean, that's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Texas EquiSearch, and a host of other places. All right. Last year, this channel in 2022, from the income from the channel, donated $62,000. Okay, now go find somebody else that does the same thing, and you won't be able to. All right, he graduated from Northampton Community College in Pennsylvania with an Associate of Arts degree in psychology in 2018. He then received a bachelor's degree from DeSales University in Pennsylvania in 2020 and completed graduate studies in June 2022, the university said. And then after he got that degree, in August, he went and moved to Washington, the state of Washington. So when you look at that, you know, you just realize, wow, I mean, he lives in Pennsylvania, he moves to Washington, and then 3 months later, he kills 4 people. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the... I did a whole series on Ted Bundy, going through the newspapers of all of the killings that he did way back in the day. And I'm going to read through the articles regarding the Chi Omega murders. And I guess there was another person. So 5 different women were attacked that one night, which is weird because the house at 1122 King Road had 5 women living there at the time. So were those really supposed to be the original targets? All 5 women in there, and that Ethan was just somebody that happened to be there. So that's weird too, right? All right, Bauman promises of life is snuffed out. Okay, so this is one of the victims right here. This is from January 16th, 1978. Last week, Margaret Bauman wrote a letter to her great-uncle and great-aunt promising to call them as soon as things settle down a wee bit. Thanks, Sensei Wackadoodle. It was a promise Margaret wouldn't keep. She was found beaten and strangled to death early Sunday morning in a room at Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. A 21-year-old junior, I mean, they're all the same age too, 21-year-old junior, Miss Bauman, was majoring in art history. She was a loyal sorority sister, friends and relatives said, and she took part in rush activities with enthusiasm. She was also a member of the Student Senate. It's hard to talk about someone like that, she used to call and say, I've been thinking about you, said Eleanor McMullen, wife of Tallahassee attorney Fred McMullen, the murdered girl's great-uncle. In her letter to McMullen's, Miss Bauman thanked the couple for a check, a Christmas gift. So I'm just going to move over. These are the other victims on this one, but I'm going to switch over to the next page. A brutal door to a new world. All right, so this is the first page of the next article. It's kind of hard to read, but it says, co-eds traveled in groups on the Florida State University campus today under tight security and police search for a club-wielding killer who murdered 2 sorority sisters, raped 1 victim, and attacked 3 other women students early Sunday. We're not getting much teaching done, a university spokesman said. The main topic is murder. Police said they had no suspects, but were looking for a very sick, deranged assailant who could strike again. Sheriff Ken Kataris appealed to the man to turn himself in before he hurts anyone else and seek medical help. It's really scary when you realize it can happen to anyone, said Nancy Bailey, 20, an Orlando junior whose dormitory is a quarter-mile from the Chi Omega house where the 2 girls were strangled and 2 others were badly beaten. A 5th co-ed was beaten unconscious a few blocks away near a football stadium. Margaret Bauman, 21, and Lisa Levi, 20, both of St. Petersburg, were killed as they slept in the rooms at the sorority house. Police said one of the victims had been raped. The assailant was seen by 1 surviving victim and another co-ed, but police said the description was very general. Well, that's kind of weird, right? I mean, information I gave you guys yesterday, wouldn't that be crazy if one of the roommates did see the person with bushy eyebrows? The assailant was seen by 1 surviving victim. University officials tried to keep things as normal as possible today, but co-eds were ordered to travel in groups, preferably with male escorts. We have a deranged murderer on our hands, a crazy man. We don't know where he is, why he is doing it, what he will do next, said Claudia Grace, Assistant Director of Activities. The pre-dawn attack was described by police as vicious and senseless, with a rape the apparent motive. 1 victim was beaten so badly she required hours of surgery to restore her face, a hospital source said. Casara said the autopsy report showed 1 victim was raped, but 1 was inconclusive as to the other. He would not say which one was raped. He said 35 investigators from his office, FSU security, and local police are working on the case. We want to solve this one quickly, he said. Sophomore Nita Jade, nearly 20, saw the fleeing intruder when she returned to the sorority house from a late date at 3:30. So there's another similarity, right? I mean, 3:30, that's exactly the time frame where Bryan Kohberger killed the Idaho Four victims. Right at the same time. And on a Sunday morning. It wasn't Saturday morning, it was Sunday morning at 3:30, which is absolutely the same. Tight security was clamped at the 23,000 student campus in Florida State Capitol. 2 deputies were put on 24-hour watch at the Chi Omega house. Fraternity men stood guard at other sorority house and dormitories. Some women moved into town with friends. We assess the danger element very, very high, said Lou Goldhagen, Chief Student Affairs Officer. There's a very real possibility that it could happen again. Katsara said the attacker apparently was a stranger to his victims. He terrorized the man, found a door unlocked, went upstairs to the 2nd floor, and looked into several bedrooms before finding one of which a single woman was sleeping. He passed up several rooms in which girls were sleeping together. The dead woman had roommates, but one was out of town and the other was on a date. 2 others who survived the attack, Karen Chandler of Tallahassee and Kathy Kleiner, 21, of Miami, were in satisfactory condition in Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. Yeah. We'll move on to the next part of that. Maybe I'll skip around in this one. Slaying shock families and friends. Hey, thanks, Jen Allison. Yeah, this is one of those really slow ones. I don't know what the deal is. What if this isn't interesting to people or what, but wow. Slang shock families and friends. She really, seems like I think it continued. There it is, continues there. The fifth victim, Cheryl Ann Thomas, 22, of Richmond, Virginia, a sophomore dance major, was beaten unconscious in a duplex apartment 6 blocks from the sorority house. She was reported in satisfactory condition today. Police linked the two attacks because their similarity through the assailant knocked out the screen to get at Miss Thomas and left behind his weapon, a 1 to 2 inch board. And on some articles it says it was just part of a tree, like a tree branch or something. He said Miss Bauman and Miss Levy died of strangulation after being so badly beaten they could have died from the blows. He would not say if the attacker strangled the girls with his hands or an article of clothing. So if you go back and watch the show we did on it, it goes through the whole thing, maps it all out and everything. And then here's another one right here. This is on the 17th, the day after. So these are the victims right here. It's 5. And the house at 1122 King Road had 5 women living there. The Tallahassee Democrat is offering a $2,500 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the killer of Margaret Bauman and Lisa Levi. If you have, or it could be Levy, I guess. If you have any information about the crime, you should telephone their phone line. Let's see. The last 2 pages of your secret witness letter should look like the drawing below. Okay, so they're just telling you how to turn it in. So those are the victims. That was from page 1. Let me go back to the other one, see where that started. Oh, it's over here. Okay. All right. 2 Chi Omega sorority sisters were murdered in their beds early Sunday morning, and 3 other women students were viciously beaten in a whirlwind spree of beating, rape, and strangulation next to the Florida State University campus. Thank you, Christy. A man who crept into their Chi Omega sorority house at 661 West Jefferson through an unlocked door, I mean, that's similar too, right? Strangled Margaret Eliza Bauman, a 21-year-old junior from St. Petersburg who was majoring in art history, and Lisa Levy, a 20-year-old sophomore from St. Petersburg who was majoring in fashion merchandising. Hey, thank you, Heels in the Air. Unheard by anyone, the killer entered the room shortly after 3 a.m., police and sheriff deputies said. The women were clubbed with what police believe was a heavy oak log before they were strangled. Police found wood and bark chips in their wounds. That's crazy. At least one of the girls, possibly both, was raped. Then the killer left the second girl's room, crossed the hall, and used the log to beat a 3rd and 4th victim who were roommates. I mean, so much rage in Bundy. You know, he just... One, Karen Chandler, a 21-year-old senior from Tallahassee who was majoring in fashion merchandising, was in critical but stable condition at Tallahassee Memorial Hospital late Sunday. The other, Kathy Kleiner, a 19-year-old sophomore from Miami who was planning to major in interior design or fashion design, was in fair condition. Miss Chandler was battered in the face, had a broken arms and broken jaw, and severe gashes about the face and head. She was being kept under observation for possible brain damage. Miss Kleiner had facial cuts and broken jaw, which was wired by doctors later Sunday. Leaving the sorority house, the killer made his way, police are uncertain by what route, to a house 6 blocks away on Dunwoody Street, where he struck again. He used a 1 by 2 inch board ladder found in the house to beat Cheryl Ann Thomas, a 22-year-old sophomore from Richmond, Virginia, who was majoring in ballet. She was also listed in critical condition at the hospital with a preliminary diagnosis of multiple skull fractures. Police said the killer was believed to be in his early 20s, 5'8 to 5'10", weighing about 155 pounds. He was last seen wearing light pants, a dark waist-length coat, and a dark blue or black toboggan. Police are unsure which of the two doors the man used to enter the sorority house, nor are they sure which girl died first. The only person other than the victims who saw the intruder was sorority member Nita Jane Neary, who said she saw him run just as she was entering a back door after returning from a date. So that's so weird because it's so similar to what I was saying last night about somebody was exiting their room, one of the roommates, and saw the guy with the bushy eyebrows, right? I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. He had a stocking cap pulled over his head. He was white. He was carrying some type of club. It was wrapped with a sock, but I could see the end sticking out, she told Frances W. Keniston, associate art professor. She noted the time was 3:26 a.m. Police said Miss Bauman never woke up when the killer began beating her. She was pronounced dead at the sorority house. Miss Levi clung to life briefly, police said, but died before an ambulance could get her to the hospital. More than 30 investigators, a score of reporters, and a campus filled with terror-stricken students had not produced any solid leads in the crime by late Sunday. I think we have a... Hey, thanks, Holly Rose. I think we have a sick individual... And Mike D. up above, I missed that. He is depraved. He's got an illness that he should have sought care for a long time ago. So far, everything has led to a dead end. That's all we have. We have no further information to go on, and no leads. Casares urged residents of the area to bolt their windows and doors. The man entered either through a rear door leading to stairs to the second floor, which is, it's sort of weird, right? Because, in this case, you open up the front door and there's a long set of stairs that go up to the second floor. Casares said the man reached the second floor and had to walk past several doors before entering the room of his first victim. About 40 other women slept unaware throughout the attacks. Police speculated the killer struck quickly before any of the girls could cry out, that's similar. Miss Levi and Miss Bauman were beaten repeatedly in the head. The killer strangled one of the victims with his hands and used an object to strangle the other, police said. Casares refused to say what the object was. He said he wanted to use its identity to eliminate other possible false confessions. So that's why they don't share everything from the crime scene. After Miss Neary saw the man run from the house, she went upstairs, authorities said, in time to see Miss Chandler stumble from her room. Sorority members found Miss Levi and Miss Bauman in the room across the hall. One was nude and the other wore only a nightie. After 5 a.m., police answered a call at 431 Dunswoody Street when a caller said loudly thumping noises were coming from the apartment next door. Investigators checking at the duplex found Miss Thomas badly beaten and unconscious in her room. Miss Chandler is the daughter of Alfred Chandler of Tallahassee, the state medical malpractice coordinator in the Department of Insurance. The dead girl slept in an adjoining rooms. Miss Bauman's roommate was on a skiing trip in North Carolina. Miss Levi's roommate was out on a date at the time of the attack. Casares said investigators have been unable to question the 3 survivors at length yet. They are under heavy guard at the hospital. Investigators have uncovered no link between the 5 victims, 4 of whom are friends and live together in the sorority house. Well, that's a link, right? Thanks, Jody H. Campus police found 2 fraternities and 4 sororities burglarized during a long Christmas season. Yeah, I don't think that was him. Many co-eds moved out of the houses to stay with friends or relatives. So you can see it has the same effect on the campus too, right? Like everybody's wondering, should they come back? Should they go back? The campus is locked up as tight as a drum, said one campus investigator. But it probably won't stay that way. FSU President Bernie Slager offered his sympathy to the victims, parents, and at the same time defended the university at which they were killed. See, they're always, hey, don't, that's a similarity too, right? Steve Goncalves is like, well, yeah, you don't need to defend the fraternity, just the campus, just admit what's going on, It happened everywhere, he said, but when it happens on a college campus, it gets more attention. It is a part of society. Windows at the campus residences were locked and checked Sunday night. Drapes were drawn and additional locks were installed. Okay. Then the next article here is, I believe, this one is a kind of a profile of Bundy back in, this one is on the 18th, so just 3 days after the murders here. So I think this would be interesting. Co-ed killer analyzed as frustrated. And let's see if some of this stuff matches a little bit. The killer of 2 women at a sorority house is probably calm now, but someday faces another struggle with the intensity of his pain of loneliness, a criminologist says. What will happen then is difficult to guess. Dr. Alexander Basson said Tuesday as a police manhunt produced no solid leads. 2 women were beaten and strangled, and one was raped at the Chi Omega sorority house before dawn Sunday at the fringe of the Florida State University campus. And that's something. Another similarity, a little bit, is it was at the edges, right? I mean, the Sigma Chi house was right on the edge of the fraternity, the campus, and then 1122 King Road was just outside of campus. That band field is part of campus. The individual seeking revenge and hostility, said Basson, a professor of criminology at FSU. These individuals are terribly frustrated by life. They are raging inwardly at the failure of humanity to recognize them as persons of worth. So that's a little bit like Elliot Rodger right there. Their reaction to this frustration is lashing out, he said. Frustrated investigators turned to the FBI on Tuesday hoping for a psychological profile of the murderer. Heads of law enforcement agencies conceded there was little else to go on and said all available information was being channeled to FBI psychological experts at Quantico, Virginia. The victims at the sorority house were repeatedly pounded with what police theorized was a heavy tree limb. One required 4 hours of surgery to repair her shattered face and broken arm. After the night of violence, the attacker probably became calm, Basson said, because his hostility is quieted. He said it's possible the man will fade into anonymous life. We have any number of people who engaged in these crimes on a one-time basis and remained undiscovered for years. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. So that is possible that Bryan Kohberger could have just done this the one time and never did it again. Although if he's emulating Bundy, for example, he would probably wait a while and then pop up somewhere else. Using his criminology classes to evade being captured. I'm not predicting a repetition, he added, saying the assailant is likely smart enough to have left town. It's difficult to say. His need may be satisfied. On the other hand, he might very well surrender himself. Margaret Bauman, 21, and Lisa Levy, 20, died in the attacks Sunday morning. Both were from St. Petersburg. Karen Chandler, 21, of Tallahassee, and Catherine Kleiner, 19, of Miami, were in fair condition Tuesday, and Cheryl Thomas, 22, of Richmond, bludgeoned as she slept alone in her duplex apartment 6 blocks away, remained in serious condition. Funeral services will be in St. Petersburg Wednesday for Levy and later in the week for Bauman. Campus life at FSU appeared to be returning to normal. The violence apparently caused only a few withdrawals from school. 2 Chi Omega members withdrew, she said. A 3rd Chi Omega member went home for a few days. She was the roommate of one of the dead girls. FSU Security Chief William A. Tanner told a meeting of Council of University Presidents that there are indications that a lock malfunction rather than carelessness provided access to the killer. The intruder tore out a kitchen screen to get at Thomas. Goldhagen said night classes are going ahead, but that no one is walking the campus alone. A fraternity escort service kept 14 men on the run Monday night. Yeah, well, there you go. Let's see what this says. All right, you guys, we're in this mode. New leads proposed in FSU murders. Police say they are investigating possibilities that the killer who strangled 2 Florida State University students and beat 2 others at Chi Omega House had a grudge against the sorority or was trying to silence a possible witness to an attack on another member last May. No, that's not what that is. Police say they have never seen a person that badly beaten who survived. Miss Thompson could give police no description of her attacker. She left school and is recovering at her home in Indiana. Margaret Bauman, 21, St. Petersburg, one of the girls killed in the Chi Omega House Sunday, was a close friend of the Thompson girl and visited her often in the hospital. Whether there may have been a witness or the attacker might think one of Miss Thompson's sisters knew something, police do not know. Now, so whatever this theory here wasn't correct. The really interesting ones are some of the ones in, I think it was in UW. I can't remember exactly which case it was, but that's when you start getting glimpses of him faking to be some injured person. And hey, thank you to Alison Fraley and Garden Girl 9, and also to Lisbeth PCB. Oh, thanks, Sack and Fox Man. Okay. He savored his work. So let's see. Is this more of a profile here again? Let's see. Just 2 weeks before the Bauman and Levi murders, in fact, the campus security office forwarded a package of material to the Law Enforcement Assistant Administration in Washington proudly. Law Enforcement Assistant Administration in Washington proudly outlining an anti-rape and anti-assault program to be presented to residents of the 12 dorms and 16 sororities. Chi Omega was due for a talk in about 2 weeks. Bauman and Levi were murdered in their beds, and stunned townsfolk are still trying to figure out how a thing like that could happen in this quiet, respectful city that likes to think of itself as a New England-type college town with palm trees. It wasn't until the end of the week that Leon County Sheriff Ken Katsaris and his men would admit to reporters they considering a link between the Chi Omega carnage and the events that started to turn things sour for FSU about a year ago. A series of rapes had already spooked the campus by last May, when on the first day of that month, Linda Sue Thompson, 20, returned from fraternity date to her residence just a block from the pink brick Chi Omega house. Someone she never saw clubbed her senseless. Think how crazy that is. Man. And the second page of that was missing. I wish I could have read the rest of that. Okay, so so the main things here that are similar are, and also you got to look at some of the pictures of, there's the newer pictures of Bryan. He used to have this straighter hair and kind of short, and now it's got that almost identical curly hair look that Bundy had, where it's brown, curly, kind of a little shorter, like when he was doing his trials. I don't know, I think there really might be something to this. That, he is in school, he has his professor who is a serial killer expert, obviously would have been taught about Bundy. And then he learns how Bundy once lived in Pennsylvania, and that's probably what started in class. Hey, by the way, everybody, he lived in this state. And then Bundy moves to Washington. Well, guess what? That's exactly what Bryan Kohberger did. He moved to the state of Washington. Why Washington? Why did he pick that place? And then he picks the smaller of the schools, Washington State University, and then he decides to, the murders happened in Idaho, but he lived in Washington. But it's only a 15-minute drive. The murders happened on the same day of the week, Sunday morning, at the same time, 3:30 in the morning. He attacked 5 women, Bundy did, in Florida back in 1978. And Kohberger attacked a house that had 5 women living in the house. Did things just go awry and he wasn't able to attack all of them at that point? Maybe the situation with Ethan created a scenario where he just wasn't able to continue. So you have that. He also, has the professor. Ada was talking about, Anne Rule is somebody that sort of, wrote a book on Ted Bundy. I don't know. Did you read those books? I wouldn't be shocked at all if they find out that he was infatuated with serial killers, and Ted Bundy was one of the ones he was infatuated with. Okay? I can't prove any of that, but I'm just throwing it out there that it almost seems like this was a playbook, but he wasn't going to leave anybody alive. So he used a different weapon. Bundy clubbed people to death, and he was pretty proficient at it. He beat people to death a lot and strangled them. He was very angry and rageful, and is that what this guy feels like? His communications that Bryan Kohberger had in bars with various people sounds like he didn't respect women much, what do you guys think? I'm just trying to find a picture that I did earlier. Where is that? Hold on. Yeah, like this thing right here. His face can't look like Bundy, but if you look at the hair, though, come on. That's almost like he was trying to make it look the same. Do you see that? I know it's kind of small on the screen. Now, let me see if I can make it. and open that up differently here in a second. See how it's almost identical, the hair? Kind of that curly look, and he's just staring at the camera. I don't know, I just feel like there's something to this. Wow, look at that. Jeez, Stacy. Haven't seen you in a million years, and boom. Well, I really appreciate it. So you're the best. Boom. Thank you for everything you do. You and the Generous Freaks are making such a positive difference in the world. Such a wonderful family. Well, Guy, I hope we get to see you more. We haven't been able to... Gotta put her on there. Very cool, very cool. Thank you so much. I've been trying to get her to watch the show, but not to send a super chat or anything, but thank you. She, you know, she used to be here all the time. She's one of the nicest people on the planet. So it's always good to have somebody really nice in the chat to counter me. You know what I mean? Because I'm so mean! Yeah, and I think he studied criminology because he wanted to learn about these people because he feels like he's one of them. And also learn maybe how to get away with stuff. And Bundy, he had a weird education. He went to pre-law at some point, but before that he was studying all kinds of... I think he tried to learn Chinese or something one time. I mean, it was... I don't think that's any of that's true. What he was doing in jail beat him. I showed it on the show, but when we were going over it, I was like, that doesn't sound legit. He doesn't seem like somebody that would be rapping and doing weird. Yeah, well, good. I hope I see you around here more, Stacy. You always make it a brighter place. It's like, you know, when Stacy's around, it's, you know, it's sort of like how my brother was. Just being in the room makes it better. She even has a freak heart tattoo. Okay, how's that looking these days, by the way? Is it settled in? How well do you think having a woman for his lead attorney will pan out? I don't know. You know? He might want it to be that way. You know, to sell a different narrative. Alright, let's see what this plane is doing. Yeah, I told you. Now it's heading back up that way again. So it was for weather purposes. Look where it's going. Right now it's headed right to, you know, near the Spokane area. Look at the direction that plane is. See? And now we can go to the this one, and there it is again. This is flight radar here. And you can view this differently too. Let me get rid of that. There it is. Where was that thing? Oh yeah. Let me click on that again. Right there. 3D view. Oh yeah, you can't see it. Hold on. So you can get into the cockpit on this program. See? That's what it looks like flying in the air. Look at. Oh, well, thank you so much. Bama forever. That was very kind of you. Be kind of interesting to watch this as it was landing, wouldn't it? But anyways, what do you guys think? Let me type in a poll question. It sounds just as terrifying, for sure. So there you go. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we hear, after analyzing and going through his digital information, that he basically idolized somebody like Bundy. Yeah, inspired by it. It's not normally a video, something I would do, but I thought there was enough things. Moving from Pennsylvania to Washington and having a professor that he just got his master's degree from months earlier, who's a expert in serial killers, and obviously would have brought up Ted Bundy since he lived in Pennsylvania at one point. And then he moves all the way over to Washington in August. 3 months later, he kills 4 people inside of an off-campus sorority house, party house. A house that 5 females lived in. And Bundy attacked 5 females in Florida in 1978, 4 inside the Chi Omega sorority and 1 6 blocks away. They were also attacked on Sunday morning at 3:30 in the morning in both locations. I mean, Bundy attacked at 3:30 in the morning. Kohberger attacked at 3:30 in the morning. So that's enough for me to say, wow, that's kind of a little too much coincidence there. Don't you think? There he is. I don't know how much longer that flight is. It's going to be a while though, because it's got to go all the way up here. But it landed right here. Well, thanks, Rarity. Yeah. What difference does it make that it was after he escaped from jail? It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, obviously the murders are in Florida, not Washington. But it just seems like he's going on the journey of Ted Bundy. Yay, where was he going to go next? Transfer to Florida? Maybe go to Utah somewhere? Colorado? Thank you, Liam Collagen and Sack and Fox Nanny. And that was Heels in the Air up above, way up there. Rhea Mazarone. Pink Panda. B. Tim. Well, she definitely teaches serial killers. I mean, that's what her expertise is in. And you know that Bundy would be, that's everybody's main serial killer, but especially if you live in Pennsylvania, where he's from, that would be one of the first people you would talk about. Yeah, I don't think he's anything like BTK. This guy, he just chose a different type of a weapon. Mainly because in Bundy's case, he may have deemed Bundy inefficient, who attacked 5 women but only killed 2 of them. In this one, he went in there and he attacked 4 people and killed all 4 because he was using a Rambo-style knife. You've tried everything? What do you mean, Lai? What are you talking about? I've tried everything. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Yeah. Yeah, Stacy's had a pretty tough year on a lot of different things. So everybody put out some positive vibes for Stacy, you know. Had a lot of stuff going on. I think she had the flu, COVID one time. And it was like crazy year. And then dealing with a lot of other stuff going on there. We were supposed to get to doing an update on Dyatlov Pass, a show on that at some point, because she wrote a book called Death of Nine, the Dyatlov Pass Mystery. You guys should check that out. It's in the description of my videos. Yep. Yeah, maybe sometime, when it's still kind of like February or something like that. Or maybe January sometime. Yeah, you got to go check it out, Christy Quasi. She wrote a book, Death of Nine, on Amazon. Well, thank you. Thank you, Layla Graylian. All right. She's an actual Graylian, you guys. Look at that. That's pretty cool. You know what? I bet you I have. Let me type in Bundy right here. Hold on. There's another case. Doug. This is disgusting. Another Bundy serial killer, but it was Doug, Claire, and Carol Bundy. That one was absolutely disgusting. I mean, we don't do the trigger warnings in here. So in that case, I remember there was a head that Doug kept, and Carol would put lipstick on the head so he could pleasure himself with the head. I mean, that's how gross these people are out there. Right up there with good old Ed Kemper. Where's the other one? Okay, there's the Serial Killer Sundays. So you guys got to watch it. I have everything mapped out here. It went on for quite a while. Yeah, I mean, all these years. So oh, you can't see it right now. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, you could. Yeah, so over here on the left here, all the way from 74 up until, then there's Idaho, arrest, escapes, all of the escapes. We went through everything, and then it ends up, God, that just keep going. And then there's Chi Omega right here. So. Yeah, so that's the Chi Omega house, and this is where Thomas. So Chi Omega is right here. This is where Bundy killed 2 girls in this house right here, and attacked 2 other. And then right over here is where Miss Thomas was attacked in these apartments, where he snuck through the window. Doesn't even look like looks like more of a hotel at that point. So there you go. Yeah, he was just so brutal. There was that really crazy one in, wasn't it Aspen or something, where they're just at this hotel, this man and a woman. I thought it was maybe their honeymoon or something, and he just goes into the hotel and he kills one of the girls, or gets her to come out and get into his car, this lady, and it's just unbelievable how he could trick people. Yeah, can you help me out? Come look at something. And yeah, if you guys want to hear something interesting, you have to go back and watch them. But there was 3 full shows where I went through all the newspaper articles for each of the cases at the time, and it was so interesting because you could hear people talking about this Volkswagen Bug and these various incidents where somebody tricked them, like said he had a broken arm, hey, could you help me out? And it was really bizarre how they tracked him down, and then finally they were able to do it. He escaped twice from jail. Welcome, Brenda. Yeah, was it Vail? Yeah, it seemed like it was. Maybe it was Vail. I was thinking like a resort town. I couldn't remember. And I think that was the last murder, if I remember right. Let's see where this goes. This will be it right here. No, not the last, but the right before the Chi Omega one. Yeah, this got to be the one, right? So I remember there was a Coal Creek. Does that make sense? Man, I'm gonna have to refresh myself on it, to be honest with you. All right, so 80%, that's not too bad. Out of 516 votes, 80% think he may have been inspired by. Yeah, well, I have him right here. He killed in Oregon and Washington, Utah, Colorado, then back to Idaho and Utah for some one-offs. Then he was arrested in Florida, escaped, and then, yeah, arrested in Florida after those murders, I think. I don't have the date on that, the Chi Omega one. Oregon, Washington, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, and Utah. I wish I had put the dates on that up there, but that was before I thought of doing that. Oh yeah, Juju Bean. There'll probably be people lined up at the prison, waiting to get that first date with, on the phone, of course, with Bryan Kohberger, who's now a sex symbol. You know, doesn't that just make you sad that there's people so desperate that they'll even start communicating with serial killers because they know that they'll at least contact them and talk back to them. I think that's a time where you got to look in the mirror and say to yourself, you know, I better try something different, you know? If I can only get a serial killer to talk to me, maybe I need to change what I'm saying and doing. Okay, where are we at now? Oh, look at that. Right now it is over Wyoming. Right there. Wow, just wow. I mean, there's probably other little things, but I thought that was, you know, breaking into somebody's house, sneaking in, and attacking 5 different women in this town. 5 women lived at the 1122 address. So that, I mean, in Florida, Bundy attacked 5. Kohberger, we've speculated, may have gone there just to attack the women, and Ethan was somebody that wasn't supposed to be there. And we've also said that he went there to kill all the people that he killed, but maybe had more focus in on one person. And that was my stomach, by the way. Now, we don't know if he knew them or not. it's possible that he communicated with one on a social media app, and maybe that's how he was able to do a little bit of sort of surveillance to figure out like who was living there, how many people lived there, that kind of thing. Yeah, maybe just the door was unlocked. But here's something I am really tired of, though, are the constant questions about the roommates that lived. Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they call 911 when they heard? Who gives a shit, you guys? They aren't the killers. So whether they did it the way you would have done it has no bearing on anything. It's just sort of like you always need to have an answer for something, and sometimes you don't get to have an answer. It just is the way it is. I think the story that I shared with you guys that I got in my email matched, it explained it almost perfectly, where it made sense that they heard noises, and then when they got up finally in the morning, they heard some scary stuff going on the night before, but just weren't sure enough to call. But in the morning, they were probably like, oh, God, I don't know, man. I'm kind of nervous to go up there because I heard a lot of kind of... So they call some friends to come over. They go up, and they see Ethan on the ground in the hallway, and he's bleeding. And they didn't know that he was stabbed or anything, but thought maybe he was passed out. So then they say, oh, you know, Ethan's up there. Looks like he's passed out. And then the girl got on the phone, and she was too nervous. So then hands her phone to one of the other people, and they finished the 911 call. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, it just makes sense to me. It's not like it's like I need it all just perfectly tied up in it. I mean, so people that keep asking questions about the roommates are basically implying some sort of guilt to them. Because other than that, what would be the point that you keep talking about it? Like every time there's a video, I just don't understand. If they heard the noises, why didn't they call the cops that one night? Whoa. I don't know. They just didn't. But now they've arrested Bryan Kohberger, and what connection does any of the other two surviving roommates have with him? Well, we'll wait and find out, man, because there might have been. Okay. Yeah. It's unbelievable to me. You know? Unbelievable. What do you guys think of that body camera footage that came out? That was pretty interesting. You want to watch that again? Block of it's interesting how
about an hour and a half ago, it's still wrapping.
The right things.
Yeah, I had.
I'll just play the video with watch it, and thank you. Thank you, Timothy.
Hello. How you doing? How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay.
See, the footage that was out there, the lip sync was way off, so I took the audio, and I think it was like 21 frames, and slid it over, and I think it matched up pretty good.
Cool. Where are you headed? Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're scanning early.
What's WSU?
University, basically.
But man, he definitely has bushy eyebrows, right? So that you have to be, you know, think a little bit more that it's possible that information that I got yesterday might be legit, okay? Because this guy has about the bushiest eyebrows you can ever see in some of the pictures when you get the right angle. I mean, it just looks weird. They really stick out.
That is SWAT team and everything.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University,
Yeah.
and you're going where? Oh,
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
oh, okay.
Overall Mountains. Yeah.
So they've been driving for a while. You wonder if he was feeling sort of nervous at that time, but he keeps looking at his dad, sort of like, yeah. And they're just talking too much.
We're slightly.
This is the first time he was pulled over.
For hours.
And what's interesting is this is only 7 minutes before the next cop car pulls him over. I mean, man, how many times has that ever happened to you? In your entire life, have you ever been pulled over and then 7 minutes later got pulled over again? No, Gray, but it was 4 minutes. Okay. Whew. Yeah, they got pulled over again in 7 minutes after this.
Hours, days.
Hours to drive. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
Yeah,
something?
there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
This was
Interesting.
Well, it's horrifying.
And it's interesting because the father's talking about. I paused that just at the right time. He doesn't look creepy at all right there, does he? Yeah, the father starts talking about a mass shooting, and I showed it on the video. There was a guy that barricaded themselves in their house on the 15th on the campus of, Wazoo or near it or whatever. But it wasn't a mass shooting. And Bryan was the one that said, well, we're not aware if it was a mass shooting, but it almost seems like they're trying to distract the officer in some way. Or at least Bryan is. I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing to bring up when you're pulled over. What are you trying to flee the shooting? I mean, that was hours and hours. And these guys are driving. If it really was this father-son bonding thing, here's what it might be. That he wanted to come home for the holidays, and he was going to leave the car there. So can the dad maybe fly out and help drive, maybe do shifts together? But it definitely doesn't seem like it was a bonding thing, because why wouldn't you drive 500 miles one day, get a hotel, maybe drive 700 the next day, get a hotel? These guys seem like they haven't stopped. These guys just have been driving the whole time. Like they're trying to quickly get back home.
He's just going to the universe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the university there?
I actually do work there.
Oh.
Here's what I want to know is, did he get a haircut just after the murders? Or there's two things. He could have got one right before to minimize any hair being left at the scene. But he could have had his hair more in the Bundy style, and then just after, get it cut. So, it'd be smarter to have longer hair and then cut it off to hide your look, because you can't grow hair really quick, right? So what if he had longer hair, and it'd be interesting to look and try to find somebody that might have been his hairstylist or whatever in Pullman. And see what they say. Yeah, he came in with a little bit longer, bushy hair, and he wanted me to cut it really short. Because when you look at this right here, his hair is short, right? This is on 12/15, but his arrest images now, they probably don't give access to cutting hair, but this is only a few days after he was arrested. So when you look at those, he looks like this. So that's longer. Or maybe he doesn't have product in that one. I don't know, but this looks like he just got a haircut somewhat recently before this. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, so I think he had longer hair. He had a certain look, and then he cut his hair just after the murders to change his look. but it didn't seem that weird to other people who may have seen him with shorter hair. You know, he may have thought through the whole thing. He shows up to Moscow, Idaho with short hair. Then he lets it grow out, and then he cuts his hair so people don't go, oh wow, they remember him with the shorter hair too. So it's not this drastic change for no reason to them. Yeah, maybe there's no hair product. Maybe that's his natural curl. You know, like the Brady Bunch? When they had that short hair, and then when they got older, it just frizzed out like a... I actually looked like that when I was younger.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
It just happened this morning.
It just happened this morning, so you can kind of hear him a little bit. I don't remember having a caller that sounded like him at all.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
It just happened this morning. About an hour and a half ago, we're still wrapping it up for investigation.
Hour and a half ago.
I'm not sure there's two shootings, but they did shoot somebody.
Let's see.
And then you don't know about that actually. They
Well,
were there for shooting out of the window or something.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay?
God, it just sucks that we don't get better audio of him talking. But at least we hear him this time. He doesn't have that same creepy face, but I guarantee you this. When they got pulled over 7 minutes later, he was probably in full-on... what are you talking about, Joe? What kind of a dumb comment is that? Jesus. God, you're stupid. I'm just going to hide you from the channel. Good luck somewhere, man. God, you guys see that stupid comment? That guy? God. What an embarrassment. God. Jesus. It was racist, you know. Unbelievable. God. What would make somebody think that's appropriate to type in? That must be one of the people that got the channel membership from a donation somebody made. And that's the kind of respect they give the people that did that. Yeah, it sure was, Stacy, wasn't it? But don't you think on the second time he got pulled over, he looked freaked out? And wouldn't you be freaked out? If you did a a quadruple homicide, and you get pulled over, the first time just seems like, yeah, you know, you're a little nervous, but, and then you get pulled over 7 minutes later, he's probably going, oh shit, he radioed ahead. They're looking for me, they're looking for me, looking for me. And that's why he had that weird look on his face the whole time and really didn't say much at all. Where is that? Hold on. Body camera. Edit it. There we go. So this will be the other one. Look at that. That's literally 7 minutes later. There we go. Got the slow-mo on this one. Yeah, he doesn't look quite as jovial. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't look quite as happy in that one, right? Yeah, 7 minutes later. I put a filter on there. This is creepy music with this being pulled over. Look at that. Yeah, I think they might have known. Yeah. But why not spread out the pullovers though? And then now he is now. Hey, can I help you?
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey, good stuff, man. Yeah.
Good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay, cool. Where are you headed?
You know, it's weird looking at the guy, knowing that he's fleeing from his town after killing 4 people a month earlier. How he's just so kind of nonchalant in this one.
From WSU, and we're standing early.
What's WSU?
Yeah, I go to the university basically. The real estate incident that was occurring up there, there's a shooting incident. That is SWAT team area.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University.
Oh, he just rolled up his window. I didn't notice that.
And you're going where? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
Hours to drive. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
So the dad says it's a mass shooting, and he said, we don't know if it's a mass shooting. I mean, oh man, he's correcting that. Hey, if you want to see a mass killing, man, it was me, man. I did a few days ago.
Interesting.
Well, it's horrifying because he's supposed to the universe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the
He doesn't
university?
blink much, does he?
I actually do work there.
Oh.
That's a good...
Okay. So y'all work at the university there?
I actually do work there.
See, that is the best sample of his voice right there, out of the whole thing. It's right there.
University there?
Because what I did was I removed as much of the crappy sound as I could, and then boosted up when they spoke.
I actually do work there.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
This happened about an hour and a half ago. We're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's 2 shootings, but they did shoot somebody.
Oh, wait, this says 10:44 here. Maybe it wasn't just 7 minutes later. Hold on, what time is the other one? I thought it was the same. Hold on, let me pull up that other one. This is the second one. Yeah, I think it was, right? It was Greenwich time now or something? Yeah, well, this one is first. Yeah, so the other one is... Yeah, it may have been just... Well, then they weren't really telling the truth because they said, oh, yeah, we just got pulled over. Hold on. No, it's the same. That's the same. Yeah, so it's Greenwich time, but see, look, no, that's not the same one. That's the new one. Hold on. Shit. Hold on a second. Oh, it doesn't have this damn time in it. Oh yeah, so this one, but I don't know if this one's adjusted because it's on a whole different side. And this one is 1350. So I mean 15, this is 350, but I remember it was Greenwich time. So it's 5 hours before that. This is 1050. And I think this here isn't Greenwich time. Because this would be 5:44 in the morning, and it would be dark outside. So I think this, see how this information's over here, and it's really digital with all this information with +000. That's Greenwich time right there. This right here, I think, is more of a, I think they've adjusted it and put on the correct time here. Okay, so this right here is 1050. We already said this yesterday. The second shot here is 1050 because it's Greenwich time and it's 5 hours. Remember when I did the Delphi case and we had a -5 for the time zone thing? So it's right there. This is actually, let's see, it'll be 1050. This one right here is 1044, just moments before.
State police got your license registration. I stopped you, man, when you were driving by me there. You're a little too close to the back of that semi. About one car between you and the back of this trailer. About one car.
He was tailgating again.
60 or 70 miles an hour. About 6 or 7 cars. Oh, you guys did?
What do you mean the second cop spots him on the road?
So,
this is just 7 minutes later. This one right here, if this is correct, I don't know, but this can't be 1044 Greenwich time because that would make it 5:44 in the morning, and it's definitely dark outside at 5:44. Do you guys agree with that? So this to me seems like that is the actual time, and this one right here is Greenwich time. It's a whole different sort of setup on there. And it's a different outfit. So these guys might right here, I think are there's a state police and I can't remember who the other one, more local or something. But they're two different agencies. Oh man, can you guys just Oh, I could look at the shadow on the ground there. Yeah.
You got stopped by a trooper? We don't have any SUVs. It was a county guy. Was it like a black SUV? Yeah. Okay. All right. And you thought you guys were following too closely?
So he does mention that he was pulled over before a county. Yeah, the sheriff. Yeah. Yeah, and if you look, I mean, just looking at these shadows, let's see, is that straight down at the ground? Well, you can see it like just like that. So on that one is the shadows just off the back of the car and going that way. I would have to know what road this was and exactly where it was to be able to determine. But let's see where it is on the other car on this video when it earlier. Oh, you know what? Let me see. I think I have. Just a second. I'm looking for the original recording that I did. I think it's right here. Hello, this is... No, that's not it. This one, I think. Recording. Ah, it's almost the same, you guys. Look at that. So if you just assume that it's the same long straightaway, the shadows coming off of that are slightly at an angle like that. And then on this one, did I nut this one? There's that. And what am I using for that? I'll open it up on a different program on the other one. Okay, that's the first one. So yesterday is the full God, did I just do that again? I just can't believe I did that. Oh man, unbelievable. Open with, there we go, VLC player. I'll do a different one. Hey, Simple Life Days. Huh. Yeah, anyways, this just has the full sun out, but you can see the shadows are almost identical if it's the same straightaway. Okay, and it would be. I mean, it's probably a long highway straightaway there. So I think that's probably it. And the plane now is, I don't know, I just lost it. It's right there. There it is. I think maybe it's in Montana. Can't really tell with all the planes there. I don't know. It's right there though. What's up? Kelsey 206. I believe he was pulled over. Where does it say that, Bama Forever? That he was pulled over at the 107 mile marker. Where are you getting that information from? Thank you, Traveling Teresa. Plus, I don't know how to get to the 107 mile marker. It was in Indiana, though, right? By the way, did you guys see that weather that was coming in over here last night? It was crazy. It's brutal. There's this huge storm coming in. Yeah, so it's pretty straight though. See that? If it's a YouTube video, I won't do it. All right, let's see. Was pulled over twice in Indiana on December 15th at around 10:40 Eastern Time. A deputy with the Hancock County Sheriff's Office pulled over a white Honda Elantra on I-70 in Indiana. Officials said the Honda was, and thanks, Bama Forever, was pulled over just east of the rest park near the 107 mile marker. The Sheriff's Office said 2 men were inside the Elantra. Okay. Only a few minutes after, see there you go, being let go by the deputy, Kohberger was pulled over again at 10:50. So we got it right. But the one camera has the local time on it, where the other one is Greenwich time. 5 hours difference. So there you go. So let's see what happens if you go down to the ground, just right there. And see where this is. Now this is 59-ish. Hold on, that's going to have a number on it right here. Hold on. I'm just guessing. $57.8. Oh, this is cool. All right, 57.8. Now, let me just go over here to make sure I'm going in the right direction. They have one every 1/10 of a mile here, apparently. So this is going to be really easy. And this one says 56, so it's the other direction. So they said mile marker I-70. So we're right here. Let me go way up in the air. I'm spotting it. I'll put my finger on the screen. You guys can't really see it. Right there. And then just maybe go from here. 0.4 miles. I got to go about 14 miles on here. It's 13. So they were almost into the town here? That doesn't make any sense. Looks like they're just on a freeway somewhere. I guess it could have been right around in this area. The 70, you're saying it was on the 70-mile marker, right? So there's exit 69 right there. So they're almost like right into the town then. Maybe right over here. I guess they were over on this side though. This is weird. I'm just trying to get to the mile marker where you can see it. I don't know. That doesn't really make that much sense because there's a lot more traffic here than it looked like. It seemed like it would be more on this long straightaway here. So. No, well, you said 107-mile marker. Jeez, okay, forget it. I was looking at I-70. Okay, 70, 70, 70. So would it be back through here maybe? Let's see. Sorry about that. I was misreading something. Yeah. What the heck? Okay, this looks good here. This looks like maybe 90 something. Yeah. So 107 mile. This is starting to look more like you would think. Sorry if you guys are bored, but I really don't care that much. I just like to figure stuff out and see what happens. It's 98, so still got to go the other direction some more. Getting closer. Will Good and Tracy Seamer. That's 104. Maybe right here-ish. Oh man, you got me right by a truck. I can see one coming up there, a mile marker though. It's right there. Oh. Yeah, that's just 103 there. Okay. So maybe back out here on the highway. I like how they have something every 1/10 of a mile though. It makes it a lot easier. There's one coming up here. So that's 105. And so this must be the straightaway that they were on. I'm just looking for one more marker here. Well, it's supposed to be a rest area right around here, right? Yeah, I don't really need it now. I'm too far down this way doing it. I almost looked that up myself, but I was like, I'll just take a stab in the dark. And it was, my problem was I was thinking it was said 70, but it was 107. Man, squirrels are so stupid on the road. Like, even if you don't want to hit them, you hit them sometimes. Like, you slow down and then they run right back out again, and they're just, oh God. How come they're so clever and smart getting a nut out of a basket? But you get them on the road and they're just, give me a break. They're just ridiculous. I actually ran one over the other day, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, and it just, hated it. Didn't mean to. It's just, I tried to slow way down and it just ran back out again when I tried to pull away, and there it goes. Like that. Yeah, I like squirrels and crows.
It's the house!
There you go, Baz B. There you go. Alright, we're coming up on it pretty soon here, I would think. I said it was by a rest area. Let me try right here. And then once I get this. You hit a deer once? Oh man. Probably wasn't very safe for you, I would imagine. Hey, Georgina Stoliker. Oh yeah, eat crow all the time. It's good stuff. Tastes like chicken. I don't know. They quit putting the mile markers out. They were every 1/10 of a mile for a while there. Oh, there you go. Well, there's the rest area that they were probably talking about. Well, there you go. That's 106.6. And just east of the rest park near 107 mark. So here is the 107 marker. So that was probably pulled over just like right here. So this is where he was pulled over. And then if he was pulled over 7 minutes later, probably about 7 miles further down the road, I would imagine, right? So he pulls off, and let's just say, grab that, and then he was probably pulled over that second time. Maybe somewhere like right in here. Maybe. It's hard to say, actually. It could have been less than that, like right around in this area. He would have got on the road and probably drove slow for a little bit, 60 miles an hour, maybe 70, which is 7 miles. Like every 10 minutes you go 7, no wait. Every 10 minutes you go 12 miles, I think. So in 6 minutes, you would go 6 miles. So he was probably right around in this area. And that second time. But anyways, there you go. Thanks, Bama Forever, for getting that. Sorry for the long time to go find it. But, I mean, he at that point, he was getting much closer to Pennsylvania than where he took off from. All right, let's go check the plane out again. So that's the other program out there. Looks like they're in Montana at this point. Actually, not far away at all. So it's like right when he touches ground, do they serve him with these paper? About what, American lady? See, we got these super sleuths in the chat. Sending me good stuff. So it's not far away now. So let's see, just south of Bozeman. So there's Bozeman right there. And so all they've got right now is 297 miles to go. So what if I end this show now and then I come back on later at, I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock my time? And we can go over, I'll get the actual route that the plane took, hopefully. And how much will we find now there's a gag order? No, there's only a gag order, probably until they release the information that's on the probable cause. I guarantee it, that's what, well, I can't guarantee it, but that's the same thing they did. Well, in the Delphi case, they have a gag order even after the probable cause. So I don't know if they just didn't want that to come out first. I live on the West Coast. It's 2 hours for me. So, all right, you guys. Thank you very much for being here. I want to also say thank you to... It's great to see Stacy in here. Hope we get to see more of you. Is this time better for you? A little earlier like that? Okay, so thank you to Liz Marie, Sensei Wackadoodle, The Mighty Experience, Susie's Lippy Shoes, Janallison, Christy, Heels in the Air, Holly Rose, Jody H, Sack and Fox Nanny, Bean Nancy, Mama 457 Rose, Allie Cake, and Stacy with the double cat eye, thank you very much. B Tim, Pink Panda, and Bama Forever with the double cat eye. Rhea Mazzarone, Liam Collagen, Sack and Fox Nanny, Layla Graylian, nice. Christy Quasi, Timothy Cecil, on the... Maybe I should make a Graylian mug. Prince Vadri, Simple Life Days, and Travelin' Teresa. Then on PayPal, we had, as I said earlier, Allison Fraley, Cindy, or actually Garden Girl 9, just say that. And then Lisbeth PCB, Tim Howells, and Your Gypsy. So we'll put all of those into for the spin later, okay? I wasn't able to keep track of them because I was doing a story. But I really appreciate you all showing up here and supporting the channel. I will be back on a little bit later. I do have a cold case to do. I'll probably do it maybe tomorrow because I want to... If we get that probable cause get snuck in there tonight, I mean, I doubt it, but it's possible. I have the link to where to get it, so that'd be good. I keep refreshing it every 5 seconds to see if it pops in there, but obviously he's not going to get his papers until he lands in the town there. So, there you go. Anyways, thank you guys very much for being here. For those of you who watched the beginning of the show, now it's changed the numbers, but 1,307 people voted. They didn't go back and watch the beginning to see the correlation because it was 80%. And then later people that came in just said, nope. That's why the numbers dropped. Had they watched the beginning of it and saw what was presented, you might go, maybe there is a connection. Because I'll just say it really quick again. In Bundy's case, he attacked 5 women, 4 at a sorority and 1 off campus. And it was on Sunday morning at 3:30 in the morning. Bundy also lived in Pennsylvania and then moved to Tacoma, Washington. He had lived in Tacoma, then moved to Pennsylvania, then back to Tacoma. And so in the Bryan Kohberger case, he lived in Pennsylvania, got his master's degree there from a teacher who specializes in serial killers. And then he moves to Tacoma, and he is only there for 3 months. And then he attacks and kills 4 people at an off-campus sorority party house where 5 girls lived, and maybe Ethan was the sort of the thing that screwed up his plans. And that attack was on Sunday morning at 3:30 in the morning. And then you also sort of see this look, the hairstyle that he's trying to have. And I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's what it turns out, that he had some sort of a, fascination with Bundy and was trying to replicate what he did at one point. So there you go. All right, you guys. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you guys later. And it was great to see you, Stacy. It's always, like I said, it's always so much better. You're awesome. So we'll see you guys later. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6.
Gosh, Gray, where are you going?
I'll be back on later.
Okay, cool.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a Crime dissector, thug rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you.
Good night, everybody.
I'll be back on later.
Okay, see you guys later.
God, Jesus.